This video series started when I drew this sword in the poorest of quality. Then, I went on to draw the same sword if it had been refined to common quality. And now it's time again to raise that quality level. But the question here is, what would it look like? Alright guys, this is important because we're about to enter the boss fight. The point where we've acquired all the skills needed to take it down without a hitch. But we need to ensure whether our weapons are strong enough against said boss. So let me ask, do you think this sword will provide us with an easy win? If not, then allow me to show you what the right sword should look like. So you may recall the weapon qualities from my previous videos, poor and common. Each of course will have a link in the description below. But right now we're focusing on the empty box to the far right under the word rare. And naturally we will begin with the measurements, which are listed right here. But they won't be as detailed because I think it'll keep things less, well, complicated. Hey, even artists have trouble following a step-by-step process. But yeah, this will make things easier for me. Okay, with the measurements put in, we can get into some real drawing. And I figure the blade's point would be a good place to start. Nothing too difficult, just about half an inch in length and 3/8 in width. Moving on, I shift up to making the rest of the blade. Now naturally, I made its width about the same size as the wider end of its point, but there was something that seemed kind of off in having it that way. Then again, that could be me just worrying about making the sword perfect. So how about we see where things go from here. With that done, I erased the extra lines to get a better look. And seeing the blade now, I realized that I was right. This is not working out. Okay, hear me out. Look at the blade from my last sword compared to the blade I'm working on now. Do you see any differences between the two? No, actually, let me rephrase that. Do you see the similarity between the two? If your answer is no, that's the problem. Because this looks like it skipped over one too many levels of quality, and it needs to look like it changed gradually to the next form. So, to fix that, I decided to widen the blade's base at the crossguard, just about the original width I had when setting up the measurements. Now this is what I'm talking about. This looks like a sword that's undergone a transformation from its last form. Now, let's see what we can do for the crossguard. What I have planned for the guard, however, is sort of different from last time. Meaning that it's going to involve more curves than straight lines. But hey, at least the gem slot I included from before will no longer be empty. Okay, wait, this seems like there's too many curves to be a proper crossguard. I'll need to bring it back to how it looked before. Alright, now this is more like it. The grip, I'll admit, didn't go through much of a change shape-wise. How it looked for the common sword was so good that I decided to move it over. But not without including extra features to help it stand out, of course. And you know what? I'll go ahead and start working on the pommel too. It's such a small piece I'm gonna get to later, so there's no harm in drawing it now. Just need to make it into a flatter shape that's less three-dimensional though. Going back to the grip, I thought of something that might make it stand out even further, and that's adding a big ring that circles around it like a belt. Might not be what you would find on a traditional sword, but I believe it works out this way. And now it seems perfect for me to add some final touches into the mix. And here's what we have so far. Pretty good, right? A sense of elegance without having it look all gaudy from extensive amounts of work. Figure it's the kind of sword royal knights or mercenaries use when in battles. But that aside, we move on to the final steps in completing this sword. One is shading, of course, and the one after that, which is the greatest difficulty for me as a pencil artist, is the drawing. But before I do the shading, I need to lay out places where the light bounces off. Probably the easiest thing to do after putting in all the details and making this sword. Next is the shading applied to the crossguard and grip. And last but not least is the coloring part of this video. I'm only going to use one color to mimic the gold-like brass I think makes the most sense. Plus, I really believe it complements the black you use for the grip as well. Oh, and I'm going to leave the gem white for reasons that'll come up in future content. Can't spoil everything in one go, am I right? Beautiful, don't you think? Well, that's the third and final sword quality. For this chart, of course. What, you didn't think I'd end this series after 3 episodes, did you? No, no chance. This is only the beginning. I've got more qualities lined up for this sword, and other weapons in the near future. And if you want to see them, you'll need to hit that subscribe button and be notified. And before I end this video, let me thank you guys for helping me break through 100 subs! It is just the push I need to keep this channel going. Oh, but if you guys are still in the mood for more content, then check out the playlist I have for all the sword qualities I've done. Trust me, you know you want to.